Specific video is going to go over onboarding on Gohighlevel, right? So if you don't have any reference to Gohighlevel, plenty of videos on my channel you can check out and kind of see the grasp of what you can do in high level, like WhatsApp agents, blue collar agents, basically AI voice callers as well. Everything that you think that can be done using like N8N. It can probably also be done inside high level. It's very strong. And of course, if you want to follow along and you're fresh to this space, you just want to jump in, you don't want to invest too much money, grab 30 days for free in the description. Apart from that, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do when you get your first client that wants to onboard on level, whether it's a paid in full or whether it's a free trial. First and foremost, you want an exact data plan. So the data plan for this client is actually leads in the tree niche, okay? So tree guys, they get their leads either paying for it on commercials, or they go ahead and just get the same clients that have already paid for them, maybe the last season, and they just do it like that. So the main things that you're going to need is to knock out a Notion page. So a page where you have your developers updating what's actually being taken care of. You also need the Gohighlevel actually built out, and then you need some sort of training. But let's just get straight into it. Now, first things first, head over to wherever you keep databases on your clients. My recommendation is use Notion. On Notion, it's very easy. Just make a new page, name it what you need to, and then just add a checklist at the top. This is going to be text, and the text is just going to be the goal. So we can just put our goal something like get leads for a client, and then add a checkbox, which a checkbox is actually going to help you basically get things done. So the first thing is collect a fill out form, create high level sub account. If you guys don't understand the whole high level sub account and main account, pretty much all it means is that you have your agency account and then you have your sub accounts here that you can log into. And then the third piece would be if you are doing SMA for the client, like if you're running commercials for them on Facebook, or if you're doing like Google ads for them, these type of things, like even Yelp ads or Nextdoor ads, you want to make sure you have all access. So gain access to platforms. So very simple checklist that you can knock out literally in one day. So we have our page. Now we want to go ahead and collect the fill out form. So if you guys, watched my latest video on how to make a fill out form, your fill out form should look very, very specific to the client, whether you make them brand new or you just have one set fill out form for the niche that you're in. But I'm going to show you one that we have right here in the sites. And if we go to forms and we find the actual client right here, you can find they have a form already made because I already created that video. Check it out. It's on my YouTube page on how to create a banger form. But ideally, you need specific information like their business owner's full name, their company address, and if they've ever ran social media marketing. All this information is very useful, but without this form, you can't actually get too much done inside high level when you're actually onboarding a client. We're actually waiting for the client to fill out this form, but we have the actual information right here. So we'll go ahead and use this information to make their account right here. So first things first is go back to your agency view and go to your sub accounts, and you're going to want to create a new sub account. And you can just start one from either a snapshot that you have, or you can just start from scratch. I recommend starting from scratch and then just kind of building it out if this is like maybe your first time. Then when you're finding the address, you can just choose manually or you can drop down, but we're just going to choose manually, and we're going to put the names in here. And then the Gmails, you can go ahead and find maybe an email they have access to on their site. Of course, all these things are going to be changed down the line. That's okay. We're looking for an email here. So they don't have an active email that we can reach out to. So we'll just do something like mileystree@gmail.com. So Miley's Tree. And we actually need to have access to this email or else not going to be able to log in. So for right now, we'll just add a personal email that I have on here, and then later on we'll swap it in with the client so they can log in as well. And just add the name, which is obviously whatever client you're onboarding, and then just do the business niche, which is an arborist or a tree surgeon, and then the business phone. You can literally just copy from a previous client. See, the idea with high level is that you can enter into the market with just a website, but it's very strong because from the website you can upsell like chat widgets, AI agents, and like specific automations, and it's just it gets very stacked on when you want to really scale hard. But you see how simple it is. If a client already has a website, great. If they don't, use the form. But if they have a website, just grab the exact information they already have public, just add it, and then just change over the information. This client is in Virginia. The country is United States, and their zip code is 25. Simple, very simple. They have a website. It's this domain. You just add it, and the time zone is going to be New York time zone. Very simple, guys. Add sample data. You do want to add sample data for every new sub account, just so you can kind of show like where you can show like maybe your developers what they need to swap out with the real data, and it's just always good to actually have sample data. It works out a lot easier down the line when you're starting with some numbers rather than nothing. So now we have all the information. You can go ahead and connect their social links, but this isn't even the most important part from when you're onboarding a client. The actual most important part is getting that form submitted and getting as much information as you can. But when you have this is pretty much where you'll add specific tasks to the sub account, like, hey, go ahead and collect the form. You can assign it to your team, and then the features and limits is actually where, what features do they have? Do they have text to pay? Can they see the trigger links? Can they see the email marketing? It just pretty much allows you to like lock down a client. Like maybe if you want to upsell some of these services, right? For us, because this is a tree business, they're not going to need affiliate manager. They are not going to need Gohighlevel. They're not going to need, maybe they'll need QRs. They're not going to need communities for sure. Campaigns we're going to leave. Memberships we're going to take that off. All reporting we're going to leave. Workflows we're going to leave. Funnels. Kind of go through this and figure out what your niche might need and what they don't need. And keep it very simple at the end of the day. We just want leads for this client. So web chat is fine. Google Business, this is all good. Text to pay, that's all good. Quizzes, they don't need quizzes. They're not giving their clients quizzes. And then social planner. Ideally, we're going to go ahead and connect and allow them to post on through the social planner. But this is something that's personal preference. We're just going to leave it there and then just save it. Rebilling is where you actually can enable rebilling for this client. I recommend doing this once you've set up all your business information, like your payments, your Stripe account in your agency account, so then you can charge your client. Like let's say it's going to be $297 a month, and then you're paying $297 for your Gohighlevel account. This one client can actually pay off your entire usage for Gohighlevel and allow you to just keep on scaling from that point forward. So I recommend enabling it, and you want to create a new customer in Stripe so you can just proceed. And obviously this has to be set up within the agency account. Your Stripe account has to be actually created. But once you've enabled it, you can see right here what you're going to charge the client for. And you can do the phone system reselling. You can pretty much charge them all these usages on the left-hand side. I recommend only charging them for really conversation, AI, and the phone system. As far as email and the emails as well, because you do send out emails. Everything else you don't really need to charge on top of. You can just do set flat-out fee. They'll pay you at the end of the month. Now, this is like if you want them to pay in through Gohighlevel. You can also have them just pay you like through a separate Stripe account, and then obviously you're the agency account, so you get charged from Gohighlevel. They don't get charged from Gohighlevel, but it helps out to split up the rebilling and the reselling when you maybe want to upsell on the AI employee, like for unlimited usages. Instead of it being 97, you might want it to be maybe 127, and you profit 30. In the reselling section, you can handle that. The marketplace, I don't really recommend touching it unless you know exactly what's going on in here in the marketplace and you have specific apps that solve problems for your niche. Just keep everything in here as simple as you can, reality-wise, and just jump straight into switching to the sub-account. Because in the sub-account is where actually things happen. So, a few things. We need to add the client's card, the payment method that they'll actually be paying forward if they're playing inside the account. You need to add it. And if you didn't go ahead and enable the whole rebilling feature, then you won't have that prompt up. They'll just kind of have to pay you off of invoice every month, and then you get charged. But if you do have it active, you can simply assign that by going to the billing, adding a card right here. They don't need to make a Stripe account. Only you need to make a Stripe account, but they definitely need to add some sort of payment method that goes into your account. So they're paying your Stripe account, and then Gohighlevel's taking money out of your Stripe account, if that makes sense. So other things that's pretty important though to get from the client, if we go back to our actual form, we actually need a few things. We're going to need A2P because A2P in the United States allows us to send out messages. So this is something that we 100% need. We're going to need access to Google. Okay, and then that will also allow us to get access to a domain. And the domain is pretty simple to connect. You can just go ahead and click domains, and you can just click connect a domain, and let's just say it was a funnel, or maybe it was WordPress, but ideally this was probably on GoDaddy, so we can just copy it, and it should prompt us to log into our GoDaddy account. There we go, let's just do that right now. It should prompt us to log into the GoDaddy account. Now, like I said, this client hasn't sent over all the information, but this is pretty much what you would do. You would connect it, setting up your domain, retrieving DNS records, does it for you. This is why I like Gohighlevel. Now, the domain provider is Cloudflare, so we have pretty much went ahead and verified and found out this is the domain provider. So we need to log into their account, and we need to remove all quadruple A records, because this is exactly what's conflicting with us being able to connect to it. So when we get into the Cloudflare account, we'll go ahead and connect that. But that's how you connect the domain, super automatic. Other things that are pretty important when you're building out a Gohighlevel account and you're onboarding them is the calendar. The set calendar for this client needs to be pretty static. It's going to be their appointment setting calendar. This is something that we're going to go ahead and brand on a site. For example, we want this client's site to look exactly like the previous ones you have. Now, this is a snapshot, but I'm not importing a snapshot because I want you guys to kind of build this as organic as you can be. The barrier to entry to Sell AI sales system is so little right now. So take advantage of it, sell to local businesses, scale, and then kind of start scaling even harder into commoditized offers where you can charge anywhere from 5 to 20 grand. Of course, there's plenty of resources out there. Now, before actually making a calendar, you want to go to My Staff real quick, add a user. Like I said, I'm going to have to go ahead and add a developer in here. So we're going to do developer, support developer, and we're just going to go ahead and add an email. Make sure that this is an email that you have access to and you can share to a developer, because they're going to go in here and literally log in and build all this out for you. Let's just make a password. Apart from that, give them admin access and give them access to everything. This is going to be the account that you're actually going to log into. And one thing is that, I've been adding this account to many people already. So this email is already registered as a staff member. If you have a fresh email that you want to give for your developer, you would add that. But since this email is already attached to sub accounts, you can just go to your settings. You can find your team, and you can find that email that technically is already connected to some sub accounts, and just look for the email. Find the email, it's right here. So you want to go ahead and open it up. Give it one more sub account that it can go ahead and connect with. And we're going to give it to Miley's Tree. There we go. Save it. And now you can go back, and now you can actually add this staff member in here. So same concept, My Staff, and you have it right here. Perfect. Now all you have to do is actually make a calendar, and you can add this person to the calendar. Same thing when the client has a Gmail and an actual user, like you collected their phone number in the client's Gmail, which ideally for this specific client, they have their name, we have their phone number. We're not going to connect it because they haven't verified this is the one they want. Apart from that though, once you have that, you can go ahead and just connect a calendar and add themselves to that calendar. But for right now, we're going to add our developer to make sure everything's rolling sweet. So we can just create a calendar, personal booking. We'll name this one booking estimate. The team member, as you see, the support dev just popped up right there. The widget, we can do estimate verification. It's fine. You can put anything. The estimate should take 15 minutes. Advanced settings has to deal with if every single day you actually want to switch up the availability. That's where you would go. But ideally right here is all you need is very simple information. So this is a calendar used for booking estimates. Take it, literally can just type it in. Keep it short and sweet. If you want to add like any extra notes in here, right here is where you would add it. But keep it short and sweet is what I recommend. And then maybe actually bold it all so we can see it. And then the calendar logo, if you guys don't have image downloader on your computer, I would recommend you download it. That will allow you to grab logos pretty fast. And I have the logo right here, so we can just download it. And we can go back and just drop in the PNG right here. And this is a little bit stretched out, but you understand, you get the point. Fix it up with Canva. Very simple. Click save in the top right. Now we're moving on to availability. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. is fine. We might even boost that up on Monday. We might even do like 2:30 to be honest. This one's fine, 8 a.m. 8 a.m. 5 p.m. So same concept, fix calendar up. Right there. Fix calendar. p.m. 6:30. 6:30. Very easy, very simple. And then the forms, this is pretty important right now. We need an actual form for clients to kind of fill out. So for the tree niche, you need to make it very direct with what the tree business service is in. So what you can do is you can literally just go with ChatGPT and ask it, make a converting form for the tree niche that focuses on tree removal and tree trimming. Make it 1 to 4 form question and ensure we are hitting all these points. The form should actually look something similar to this right here. You have the name, the last name, if it's needed, their email, their address, their phone, and then how'd you hear about us. They have drop down right here, and then descriptions. So I'm going to show you exactly how to make this form and how to attach it to your calendar. We'll move on for right now, but you want to do date and time, and then the form. That's fine. Consent checkbox. You can leave that on as well, and then the redirect URL. You always want to go ahead and send them to the website, which later on you can make a thank you page. But we're not making a website on this. I'm just kind of showing you what's really important to kind of get the ball rolling for your clients. And then apart from that, your customization, you can leave this all as is. We'll change that to black. So it is saving a little bit slow at the top, but that's okay. We can still go back to the forms and just make that real quick. A qualifying form for this exact niche is create a new one. You want to probably do from scratch. Mind you, this is apart from the onboarding form that we have already created. If you don't have an onboarding form, you definitely need an onboarding form. Will help you answer a lot of these questions, but this is something that this specific niche is going to benefit from. But whether you're doing HVAC, roofing, whether you're doing any home service business, for lead generation, it's pretty much the same form. You're going to need the name, you're going to need the address, and you're going to need the phone number. That's literally it. So obviously their full name, their phone number, their email. Let's move this up a little bit. And then turn this off, their address, and then we can do the how did you hear about us. Well, you can do a checkbox for the how did you hear about us. We'll move this underneath. We'll put, you can change the name. How did you hear about us? Simple. For the options, you can do Facebook ad, and you can do Google. You can do mailbox. You can do saw or truck. We'll just leave that. And then apart from that, we just want to add a button, submit button. There we go. Here we go. That's fine. We'll do this one as a lead form. Very easy, very simple. Save it. There we go. Now we can go back and we can add this exact form to the calendar. One last thing though that I did forget to add was in the settings, on submission, you want to send them to a URL link. This is a URL that could be a thank you page. For right now though, we're just going to add the actual, landing page, which is a website. There we go. You can just save that. You should have a backslash thank you page though for bookings. It increases conversion, especially with reviews, and it makes you look a lot more professional in your business. But I'm just showing you exactly what you need to kind of build when you're onboarding the client. You need a calendar, of course, for lead generation, and then you need to add the form to the calendar. So when it asks us what form we want, now we have lead form, and you can just save it in the top right. And the thank you message should be a lot more personal. So let's change up the thank you message. Obviously, we had redirect URL, but we don't have a landing page right now. Assuming you guys haven't set up the website as well, you can go ahead and actually just do a thank you page, something like, thank you. We will be in contact shortly. You are all set. Very simple, guys. Very easy to do something like this. Apart from that, you're going to want to go ahead and hit the phone numbers and email services next. You're going to see that the client needs to register for A2P. So we're just going to add a phone number. And something that helps us out in figuring out, what is the actual phone number closest and what's going to increase conversion. You can find out where the client is located. So for example, we already built the form, by the way, so we're not going to ask ChatGPT to make a form, but you can 100% ask ChatGPT to make a form. But now we're moving on and we're going to creating a phone number and creating the A2P process, which will allow us to send SMS, which will allow us to get Google reviews. It will also allow us to send out campaigns, marketing purposes, and also just have an AI agent, book appointments. So it's pretty important you get a phone number that's really close to the area that you service. So this client is in West Virginia, so we can ask, what is the phone line for West Virginia, specifically in Charlottesville? Oh shoot, this client is not in Charlottesville. Oh, it's Charleston. So area code is 304 and 681. So we want to find one for 304 and 681. So we want to do 304. First part of the number. All of them are fine. There you go. And if we can find one perfectly, let's see if we can find one in Charleston specifically. I guess all these are fine. Maybe if we search up 60681, it might give us a better one. We want the one in the exact city. 681 Martinsburg was this one's fine right here. So we can just literally click it, proceed to buy. And then it might ask you for some payment information, or it might ask you to like verify because they want specific clients to actually connect with their ID. So this is where you would have the client log in and begin verifying the purchase of the number. Very simple. We can cancel this for now and just let our client do that. But then this will prompt up to kind of finish the A2P. On your end, obviously, go ahead and submit the A2P, which is what needs to get handled in the beginning. Very important. But apart from that, anything else that might be really needed is something that you can hand over to a freelancer, a developer. Of course, the opportunities and pipeline tracking. You can go ahead and make something like booked lead. So I can do something like this. So we can just name booked information. And you can start the stage name as incoming lead, nurture leads, and then booked an estimate, and we can add closed job, never and then we can also add a never closed section, which these are the people that are on nurturing, and then also nurturing for reviews. Here we go, and we can add this above. So closed jobs, we want to get a review, and then we have the never closed section. So this is pretty much a pipeline that you can use. You can use the exact one, or you can have ChatGPT cook you one up. For the voice AI agent part, for the inbound caller, you just want to create an agent, create a custom agent, obviously, and then start filling in the details. So this one's going to be for Miley's Tree, and you want it to be an inbound caller, and kind of walk through the process of having a guy that sounds correct. The time zone is fine. The initial message is, hey, you have reached Miley's Tree LLC. How can I help you? Or we might want to remove LLC. And you can click next. We want it to collect specific information like the name and the address and the contacts issue. We want to trigger a workflow. These are things that a developer can definitely knock out for you, and it's probably more beneficial that you let an offshore developer handle these things, specifically someone that knows exactly what is going on inside the high level. Your job is to sell the systems. If you start building every single system for a client, you're not going to be able to scale as aggressive as other marketing guys in this AI agency space are scaling, simply because you're spending too much time building these. But I wanted to show you what actually matters, and that is connecting a domain, making a form, getting the client to submit a persona verification for their A2P, and then apart from that, getting domain access, and then immediately map out your entire snapshot by having a freelancer build something like this out. Everything else, like the reputation, the media storage, those are workflows that the clients need, but you do not need to build it. A offshore developer can build it for anywhere from like $100 to $300, and I can 100% guarantee that you're going to get the same amount of results, but you are running an actual business that is profitable now with your time and your leverage. And as long as you actually know what is going on inside high level, what needs to get built, like I had just explained to you, you need the A2P verification, you can send SMS. You need access to Gmail so you can get Gmail services, and you need access to domains so you can get an actual website that converts that looks like this. And if you have all of these, you can 110% give it over to your offshore developer to kind of finish the rest of the actual workflow automations, and you can focus on the sales part. And maybe once you break out past 10K a month or 20K a month, then you can kind of go in and start seeing, hey, maybe you want to build a SaaS, or maybe you want to tap into multiple niches. And that's how it works. There's plenty of resources down in the description if you guys want to check this out and be a part of the community where you can see everything all in one place. Focus on WhatsApp agents. There's the whole, I didn't even break into, specifically because of this niche, I didn't break into the whole WhatsApp connection. If you want to connect WhatsApp, I have plenty of videos on that, but you definitely need to subscribe. $10 every single sub account is what high level charges, the minimum fee, and that will allow you to pretty much see WhatsApp messages in here. And then this helps out maybe if you're in the digital space or if you're just outside the States. But apart from that, depending on what niche you have, what matters is, like I mentioned, I can't stress this enough, A2P, email access, domain access, and then ensure that you get an offshore developer off of Upwork. And I have a video actually explaining how to find the right offshore developer and how to avoid, getting screwed over by the offshore developer. And if you guys want to check out that video, it's all on my page. Apart from that, guys, keep scaling. Check out all the resources in the description. This is pretty much what you need to onboard a client. You need that calendar first and foremost, and you need to get them to go in ahead and verify the phone numbers and the A2P. And then from then, go ahead and hop over to Upwork, get a offshore developer to build out this system, and that will allow you to scale a lot more aggressive than all these other guys in the same market building out these automations for clients, because that doesn't make sense. You need to actually scale the business and lead it at the top. Evidently, it's always going to be the guy at the top making the most money. The managers, the setters, the closers, all these guys are not going to make the most amount of money. They might be a little bit less stressful for them, but you are trying to build a business that is actually going to survive and thrive. So that is my recommendation for when you're onboarding a client. Get a Notion page. We've literally, collect the fill out form, create the Gohighlevel sub account, and gain access to platforms. So then you can hand that all over to the offshore developer on Upwork. Now, if you guys want more in-depth information on this, like I said, join the school community. Plenty of guys scaling in there. That's it. Please emphasize there's always going to be one level where you're at getting your first client, and the first client may be messy, but if you have at least tenacity and you know what you need to do, and you just get the project done and handle with, it's going to be really easy for you to get either a monthly recurring client or a one-time PIF by selling AI infrastructure, Gohighlevel, focusing on the sales part of things. And then, you get to level 2 where you actually have a team that is actually able to fulfill within anywhere from 5 to 10 days turnaround. And then level 3, you're blasting your ads, you're scaling with your team, and then that's really it. From that point forward, you can just kind of branch into maybe building a SaaS or just keep scaling your agency until you hit 6 figs. Please focus on the offshore developers, though, because if you start getting developers in the States, they're going to want an arm and a leg, and you're not going to be able to scale as aggressive. That is the number one tip for anyone watching to the end of this video. And you're like, well, I've already done all this. How can I break out of this, bottleneck of anywhere from 80 to 70K? It's because your developers are charging you too much. You don't have enough profit margins in between to keep going. Apart from that, though, get a good CSM, and that's really all you need, though. So check out the description, plenty of resources. I cooked up this quick video to show you guys, what it means to onboard a client, what specific things you might need, and then, this client should send over all the information we need, and we'll onboard them and scale them from there.